So this is another point we need to get to, and then we have Michael Knowles coming up after this. And I want you to tell me what you see as, because it was tough to pick them out, what you see as the worst example of media bias as it relates to polls. There are several reasons, by the way, that pollsters have gotten things wrong. Absolutely. Remember when it used to be Trust Nate Silver? Mm-hmm. Now it's just like, oops. That's his website subtext.
It's like a GIF now.
So it has a lot to do, like you said, with how the media covers Donald Trump. There's something called Social-Desirability-Bias. Yeah. And I'm going to get a little bit wonky here, but I'll try and keep it short because I know that we are in pink hairdos. Social desirability bias, okay? It's the tendency of respondents in polls or surveys. They lie about their actual beliefs sometimes because they want to answer in a way that they view as more socially acceptable. Yeah. Okay? So as it relates to voting, this social desirability bias, I'm saying this so that you know what it is. If you haven't been to college, you'll probably hear about it there. It created something called the Bradley effect, okay? Named after Tom Bradley. He was a black candidate, lost in the 80s in California. It was a gubernatorial race, despite the fact that he was leading in the polls. But people didn't want to be perceived as racist. Exactly. They said, oh, I'll vote for that guy. And then they went back home and they said, you voting for that guy? I said, no. No. So, but you just told them that you were going to vote for that guy. I said, yeah, it's because right behind him was a Black Panther with a baton. So they said they were going to vote for him because he was, even though they weren't going to vote for him, right? And then there have been case studies in this. Now, let's, for context, take a look at the way the media has actually covered President Trump.
Most presidents would use a crisis like that as an opportunity to bring the country together and to denounce hatred. But not this president. Over the last 12 months, Trump has instead amplified his racist rhetoric and policies.
We said I talked about the president. The president is a racist. As a matter of fact, I've known that the president is a dangerous human being, a would-be dictator who would move in the direction that he's doing.
President Trump today denying that his racist tweets were racist. The world is watching.
And today, it is the United States of America, the former beacon of the free world, that is the subject of global revulsion and disgust because of the raw, ugly racism and ethno-nationalism of our president.
And by the way, every single source for those is the previous clip.
Right. Yeah. See CNN clip B.
I knew for a long time Donald Trump could be a racist and dangerous man. Really? How'd you know that? I seen it.
All the other times I said that. You don't remember?
Exactly. Jake Tapper and shit. Good. Okay, now we understand. So the principle, again, not wanting people, we talk about the Bradley effect, to perceive you as racist. Well, how do you think people are going to respond when the media consistently says, if you support Donald Trump, you're a racist. Racist, racist, racist. Right. The MAGA symbol, the OK symbol, which is, by the way, don't tell Home Alone 2, it's on the cover. For crying out loud, is this is racist, this is white supremacy. If you vote for Donald Trump, it's white supremacy. Check your privilege. Voting for Donald Trump is white privilege. Yeah. What you probably will want to avoid being perceived as racist. And so that's another reason that the polls can't be relied upon. Not always, but specifically we've seen historically with Donald Trump.
Yeah, and not only do they do that, not only do they portray him as a racist with no evidence on the screen at all, they also remove everything that would actually show him.
He gave Arsenio Hall the Celebrity Apprentice win.
I know, right?
And that guy sucks at everything.
The video that we saw the other night from his campaign that was taken down by Twitter because somebody had a problem with being in a video that public footage, right? And every full quote, all the full videos, Donald Trump's a racist. Well, if you play the next 30 seconds, you'll see he wasn't talking about that group. All of those things are pulled off. So the only thing that you see is what they have to say about him, not facts.
Right.
And I think the other part of this is how many people are out there going, oh, I'm going to vote for, they say publicly, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump, and then are actually going to go home and vote for someone else.
Far less.
Nobody.
So consider the social desirability, and if you need proof, look at 2016. Right. I mean, if the fact that they think that this is accurate polling shows the fact that they're desperate to create it.
Right.
And so I definitely get the point about why the letter was sent, and I'm with you. I disagree with the letter being sent. I think it looks weak. In fact, you should have just sent one that just said, you're wrong. That would have been better than anything.
Rug.
Right. Right, that would have been better, but ultimately, polling is wrong.
I do have a question for you then on the legal front. So I read the entire letter, and at the bottom of it, it basically said, because you've been notified, you can't destroy any information related to this polling. And they listed out just like a paragraph of things. Do you think at some point they're going to go and try to say, like, just release to us how you conducted the poll? Release to us internal emails about conducting this poll. Like, was it biased? Are they trying to prove that by sending this letter?
So that's called a litigation hold, and it's a notice that you send. You don't have to send it. So people have an obligation to preserve things if they think there might be litigation, but you put them on notice to say, preserve all your records because we might have to get them from you
like
as part of litigation, right?
Yeah.
Email, but it's not just that; it's texts,
it's everything. They wrote facsimiles,
right? So when you look at how the poll came about and what was the purpose in doing it and what were the conversations, that may be something that they're looking at for down the road, which is why they sent that notice in the first place. Again, you could have sent that notice without the rest of it,
right?
But either way, look, there's certainly some thought went into it.
Right, and I want to go back to your point. I think you're absolutely right because people say, well, it cuts both ways. No, what is the likelihood of someone saying to a pollster, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump, and then not? I mean, because answering a pollster to their face or on the phone, yeah, I'm voting for Donald Trump, is the equivalent to slapping your balls on the table and saying, suckle, 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 huh? Come on, num num balls, num num balls. That's what it's like. Right, as opposed to the people who are afraid kneeling. It's allegorical, but
I picked up.
No, I picked them up because lack of collagen.
There you go.
Oh, stretchy.
Shea butter will help.
It's just like a sequel to Flubber. The point is, bouncing off the walls, green
terrible.
tint. I think you're absolutely right. That's important to take into context. Yeah. For you. That was McKorean doing that. It's always funny when you have a Canadian or a Brit, or now you have South Koreans trying to mimic the American inner city black accent. It's like, come on, man.
Just don't
do that.
I am whatever I say I am. You're not, though. You're not.
You're the opposite.
Another thing that isn't measured by polls, we'll go to Michael Knowles in just 2 seconds here. There's simple approval and disapproval, right? And it glosses over enthusiasm. And I know that a lot of people say, well, enthusiasm doesn't matter because people are either going to vote or they're not. No, actually, it's a more significant determiner in who actually gets out and votes on Election Day. And that's the reason there's this huge discrepancy between likely voters and then actual voters. And these polls are likely voters. And specifically, as it really from Al Gore onward, outside of Barack Obama, you can think of Al Gore, you can think of John Kerry with John Edwards, and then you can think of Hillary Clinton, of course. There really has been an enthusiasm problem on the left. So Hillary Clinton, right, she led significantly among likely voters, but then trailed with actual voters. Now, recent polls, they show that among registered voters who support Trump, 55% of them are very enthusiastic about backing him. For Biden, it's half. At 28% are very enthusiastic. And I tell you what, those 28% are committed to the lie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and just to go to your point,
like when they say, I'm going to enthusiastically vote for Biden. It's like, you threw up in your mouth a little bit. I did. I swallowed it back.
You got me.
Yeah. They'll probably forget, just like Joe Biden will. He'll forget he's running for president by election day, but nonetheless. In the CNN poll, it goes back to your point. 70% of the people that said that they were voting for Trump, they said it's because I want Trump to win. 60% of the people voting for Biden didn't say it because they like Biden. They said they were voting against Trump.
Right.
Right. So that's not enthusiasm for your candidate. That's just being pissed off in a moment. That can change drastically.